So I just finished my speech in Freiburg, Germany. This is one of the largest universities in Germany, 30,000 students in a pretty big city. Take a look, old, a lot of tourists come here as well. And I'm on a high because I just was able to speak to a Jewish community that feels very embattled. And, you know, it's not just Germany, 80 years after the 1945, 2025, 80 years after the war, but it's Germany after October 7th. So right after feeling this high, I see this, right? And this is everywhere. I'm told this is everywhere, like Free Palestine. Now, how disgusting does a city have to be to allow that and not arrest the people who do it? This is Freiburg, Germany. Let me speak for a moment to the city council, the mayor, etc. Your country killed 6 million Jews in the lifetime of my grandparents, or my mother. My mother was born 1942. The day my mother was born, October 23rd, 1942, 10,000 Jews were gassed by the Germans. How do I know that? Because every day of 1942, they killed 10,000 Jews at Treblinka. So why do you allow that? Because these are open calls for another genocide of the Jewish people. It's Free Palestine from any Jews. You know, as I speak to, and I don't harbor animosity to Germany. On the contrary, I've spoken in Munich, I've spoken in Dresden, I've spoken in Berlin, and Freiburg, and many times in all these cities, Cologne, Jewish community. I spoke to 250,000 German youth at the National Church Day. But you got to be decent. This is just not right. You know, every German that we meet, instead of like, I shouldn't say every, I don't want to generalize, but many Germans that we meet, you know, they talk about the Holocaust, and it's always the same story, that thank God their family were saving Jews in the Holocaust. Like, everyone else was killing Jews, but not them. So it turns out that of the 12 million Jews that were in Europe, thank God, by the end of the war, there were 80 million Jews. Because 80 million Germans, each one saved at least one Jew. So we went to 80 million Jews after all. Clearly, that's not what happened. 1 out of 2 Jews in all of Europe was slaughtered and murdered. Now, I'm not looking to apportion blame now and go back into history. We all know it was the Germans. We all know it was the Nazis and their collaborators. There were Ukrainian collaborators. There were some Polish collaborators. There were French collaborators. And there were the heroes, the British, the Americans, the Free French Army. That's all living history that has to stay forever. It can never forget. But this is right now. This is the present. And this is all over Freiburg. And it's just disgusting. And it makes me sick. And it really does. And I said tonight in my speech, look, if the city wants to allow free speech, like demonstrations, you know, of course that should be allowed. They want to have the Palestinian flag. That's part of a democracy. But the moment they use language like, from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, when they do that in public in Germany, that's calling for a second Holocaust. From the river to the sea, Israel, Palestine will be free of all Jews, gassed, shot, killed, or just butchered, decapitated, burnt alive, the way they were on October 7th. That is hate speech, and that should be banned.